Good evening. This is NTA Nationwide. I am Ayo Adewi. We're kicking off with the labor matters. The nationwide strike called by organized labor over a new minimum wage commences today with activities in government offices in Abuja on hold in the nation's capital. Calvin Ebonoye reports.
From the Federal Secretariat to the office of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, offices were locked. The usual high activities associated with the Central Business District, where many commercial banks are located, were absent, as the few workers who turned up for work were turned back by a team of the NSA Compliance Committee.
You can move from gate 1 down to gate 8. All the gates are shut. So there's no entrance and nobody is allowed to enter inside to work. Maybe for those who sneaked in, maybe around 5, 6 o'clock, we have entered there and we have sent everybody out. So presently, the compliance is 100%.
For the workers and other categories of Nigerians, the strike, which has also affected electricity supply and businesses, is one the country cannot afford to allow to linger.
The labor and the government should dialogue. They should see between each others and see what can become the solutions to this strike. Because if this thing continue, it may cause a lot of problem on the ground.
At the moment, Nigerians can only hope that the engagement between the leadership of the National Assembly and that of the organized labor yesterday leads to amicable resolution of the matter in a manner that will convince the Nigerian Labour Congress to suspend the strike, which has hampered social and economic activities across the country. In Abuja, Calvin Ebonoye, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government has declared the nationwide industrial action by the organized labor as premature, ineffectual, and illegal. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, made the declaration in a letter to the 2 trade centers in the country. Fagbemi pointed out that declaration of industrial action without the 15 days notice as provided by the extant law brought to question the legitimacy of the proposed action. Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, as the Chief Law Officer of the Federation, called the attention of the leadership of the labor centers to the binding effects of the interim injunction of the National Industrial Court issued on the 5th of June 2023 on all parties in the matter. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice advised labor leaders in the spirit of collective bargaining to return to the negotiation table to prevent foisting avoidable hardships on Nigerians. He stresses the need for the industrial unions to pursue their cause within the ambit of the law. Meanwhile, the Transmission Company of Nigeria says the labor union has shut down the national grid, resulting in blackout as nationwide strike begins. TCN, in a statement credited to the General Manager, Public Affairs, Ndidi Mba, states that the national grid shutdown occurred about 2:19 a.m. Monday, 3rd of June 2024. According to the TCN, the shutdown started from Benin transmission operator to other substations in Gomo, Benin, Ayede, Olorunshogo, Akambra, and Oshogbo. TCN also says power generating units from different generating stations were first to shut down some parts of their generating plants. At about 3:23 a.m. Monday, however, TCN says it has commenced grid recovery using the Shiroro substation in an attempt to feed the transmission line supplying bulk electricity to the Katampe transmission substation. TCN also assures that it will sustain efforts in recovering and stabilizing the grid to ensure restoration of normal bulk transmission of electricity to distribution load centers nationwide. I'm now being joined by Dr. Ibrahim Modibo, development communication expert, to speak more on the federal government and labor debacle. Dr. Modibo, you're welcome to NTA Studios.
Thank you, my AD. Good evening, Nigerians. Good to be here to talk on labor matters this evening.
Now, Dr. Modibo, the labor unions are making good their threat to embark on this indefinite nationwide strike action. Talks have been made about how realistic is the labor demand and how sustainable it could be. What is your take on this?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Maidi, for inviting me to talk on this matter once again. Well, I think the demand by labor, from all indications, seems to be unrealistic. Unrealistic in the sense that here is a country that is under the current economic doldrum where, the economy seems to be plummeting, and we found ourselves in a very, very tight situation where I think the minimum wage of 490-something thousand might not necessarily be ideal. I think there should be a common compromise. The government, vis-a-vis the labor, should be able to come to a round table to discuss on the way forward. As you know, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man of compassion. I'm sure he is a man of uncommon grace whose decision to venture into politics has been born out of his patriotic desire to respond positively to the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians. And one of the most outstanding and worthy narrative about this administration is the ability of the president to listen. If there's anything, the president has an open ear to listen. I think this particular stage calls for him to listen. Let there be a compromise, even if it is a war situation, my ED. You will agree with me that at the end of the day, it is on table that is going to be settled finally. Therefore, labor and the federal government should be able to come and sit down, negotiate properly. To me, it's high time to disband the tripartite committee set up by the federal government, because to me, they are not serious. If they were to be serious, they should look at the problems and prospects of the problems of the Nigerian worker. Today, since the removal of fuel subsidy and also the removal of this petroleum, light something, the Nigerian worker has been in serious pains. There is no food on the table. And also, if one has a child or two children or three, sending them to school, paying their distance, for God's sake, what could 60,000 do? A bag of rice is over 80,000 at the moment. And therefore, we should look at these issues with compassion. We should look at this issue with human face. If I were the president, or I should have given the president advice, let us sit down with labor. Labor, what do you expect as a reasonable amount? Because 490-something to me is outrageous and unnecessary. It can't be, because the economy as it is today will not be able to sustain it. Therefore, we should have a common ground. To me, the most appropriate thing to do is to peg the labor come down to maybe between 120,000 to 150,000 for the least paid worker in Nigeria. Bear in mind that the current problem or the current take-home pay cannot even take him to the bus stop. Because if you are coming, if you want to eat, if you want to pay transportation to work, and if you want to work, at least to earn a decent living, there is no how 60,000 naira can take you to anywhere. Therefore, I want to believe that as a listening president, a man of compassion, a man of uncommon grace, I believe that there's still, even if the door is shut, there's a window of opportunity that could be opened, where the two sides could sit down and amicably look at the issue of the economy dispassionately with a view to finding common grounds. Because honestly, as I've stated, let me reiterate again, 490-something thousand is unrealistic. Because even 30,000 now, there are some states that cannot pay. Therefore, with the removal of fuel subsidy, what I was thinking is the Nigerian worker should enjoy. Let the process from the removal of fuel subsidy be put to the Nigerian worker to make him smile. Because the essence of democracy, party democracy, is for the people to enjoy. It's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Therefore, the Nigerian worker forms the fulcrum of the Nigerian society, because if the worker is paid, the market people will also get money to enjoy. Therefore, there is this symbiotic relationships between the worker and also the people that produce and sell at the market. If there is no payment, how can they survive? As at the moment, I strongly believe that there is still the window of opportunity for the government to sit down dispassionately. Let the president call Labour. There's nothing bad in it to me. The president is a father, and Labour, they are just his children. He should temper justice with mercy, to look at the problems of the Nigerian worker and also see the possibilities of giving him a take-home pay.
All right, Doctor. You know, the issue at stake here is about the welfare of the civil servants. Is this the best way to address this issue? Or what do you suggest?
You see, to me, the strike is a needless exercise. Needless in the sense that strikes usually should be the last resort. And I strongly believe that the government should have, right from ab initio, the government should have been thinking about this particular issue right from day one. If I were the president, when I said subsidy is gone, I know that subsequently the resultant consequences of this action will be on the Nigerian worker and also the downtrodden masses of Nigeria. Therefore, how do we ameliorate? How do we soften the grounds for them to survive? Because survival is the most important thing. You can see subsidy gone, petroleum price has increased. The issue of this NEPA or this electricity ban A, ban B, which is discriminatory, it has been able to bring up the, the input in terms of purchase of this thing, which is detrimental to the pulse of the Nigerian worker. Therefore, I strongly believe that there is room or window of opportunity that remains with the president to call the labor, because we strongly believe that the Nigerian worker is a very fundamental ingredient to any democratic setup. Therefore, this government, knowing full well that in 2027 there will be another election, and these are the people that we are likely to meet again to yearn for votes, I strongly believe that the Nigerian worker should be able to get something that will take him home, and also something that will be able to safeguard him against temptation of evil. Because with this kind of situation we find ourselves, you find a lot of people going into crime and criminality and also being corrupt, because there's no how somebody will be able to survive on 60,000 naira in the current Nigerian situation. If you take 60,000, you go to the market, maybe it's just the leather bag that you'll be able to come out with, which is...
I'm just coming there, Dr. Modibo. Now, you have appealed to government and to Labour. What is your appeal to Nigerians at this moment?
My appeal still is both to the government, to Labour, and also to fellow Nigerians. Fellow Nigerians, the time has come for us to exercise some patience and some level of restraint. I'm so happy that, unlike other countries within the West African sub-region, where small things will ignite passion and will bring sentiments and emotions, while you see people protesting, trying to use whatever it is at their disposal to come and destroy things and whatever. Nigerians are patient people, and I commend them for their patience. For them, their patience, their endurance, are also the capacity to listen to the government. I think the government should also look at the whole thing with human face. For now, people, honestly, whether we like it or not, we know that Nigerians are suffering. Suffering in the sense that to put food on the table is becoming a big problem. Therefore, the government, in its magnanimity, in its own wisdom, and in its own capacity to feel to the yearnings of Nigerians, it should be able to look at the demands of labor.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Modibo.
Yes, vis-a-vis the Nigerian situation as it is today.
Very much. Dr. Ibrahim Modibo is a development communication expert. Thank you so much for your views.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on now, air travelers at domestic wing of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, have appealed to labor unions and the government to speedily resolve contending issues that led to nationwide strike. Aliu Kabir has an update from the airport.
In the early hours of Monday, 3rd June, the striking labor union stormed the entrance of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, dispersing air travelers and preventing them from gaining access into the departure hall. Some of the travelers who were not happy with this development declined to comment on the situation, while others said they had been stranded at the airport since morning, not knowing how to get back to their various destinations. As at the time of the NTA crew visited the airport, all the doors to the airport facilities were locked. At the international wing, activities were steadily going on without any hitch, although no plane was on ground. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
And in Bayelsa State, workers in Yenagoa joined their counterparts nationwide to observe the nationwide strike, calling for a better welfare for workers. Organized labor leaders were on ground to enforce compliance. Ebidemi Zimitimi Loyola reports.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
We have gone round, our monitoring committees are also going round. All the banks in the state, the federal institutions and both the state institutions, all of them have been shut down. And this will continue until we get a counter directive from our national.
What we are demanding for is a living wage that can take us home and feed our children. Children cannot go to school anymore. We can't even go to market to buy a bag of rice is 78,000 as at yesterday. What are we talking about? And a minimum wage of 60,000 is being proposed.
What they had gone to do was to brief the governor and the deputy governor that we are complying with the national directive. It's not a state matter. And we are also writing officially to the governor, the head of service, the commissioner of police, the DSS director, and all relevant authorities, commissioner for labor and all that, so that they know that the directive is from national and we are complying and it's going to be indefinite.
Ebinimi Zitemiola, NTA News.
And still on the labor strike, the Nigerian police force says it acknowledged the right of organized labor to embark on strike to advocate for interests of all workers, but emphasizes the importance of adherence to the existing laws governing such activities. It therefore calls for caution to prevent a breakdown of law and order within the country. In view of the federal government's recent declaration that the planned strike is illegal and premature, the Nigerian police force, in a statement, says it views the strike action as a potential catalyst for increased tension and political instability. The NPF is urging the organized labor to proceed with the ongoing deliberations at the tripartite committee, which is focused on determining a new minimum wage. The police urges labor to call off the strike, as such decision is essential to prevent untold hardships on members of the public. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force assures the public that deployments have been made across the country to ensure that citizens go about their lawful duties. Time for a short break now. Nationwide continues after the commercials. Stay with us. You're welcome back. Senior secondary school students sitting for their WAEC examinations in the FCT were not affected by the ongoing strike called by the NLC, as schools remained open for both the senior secondary students, internal invigilators, external invigilators, and supervisors who are participating in the examination exercise. NTA News observes that though there is substantial compliance with the strike, Labour has kept to its promise to exclude schools and students sitting for this year's WAEC examination from the ongoing industrial action. Hadiza Godwin-Ebone reports.
Out here is a strange Monday, a day crippled by industrial action, yet the schools are open for the day's business, even though it is not business as usual. Senior secondary schools are among the privileged few institutions that are exempted from the ongoing strike due to the ongoing senior secondary certificate examination in West African countries.
I'm here today and I'm writing my exam and I'm not aware of the strike going, and it's not affecting my senior work. It's not affecting my senior work exam going on.
strike has not started the examination, just like every other examination. It's just like every other examination, it has not actually started.
And for everyone involved, teachers, parents and students, their exclusion from the strike is a sign of relief.
Despite the ongoing strike, our examinations are still taking place. It's not affecting us in any way.
Despite the strike, we are still commencing on the we are still writing the exam.
Meanwhile, both primary, junior secondary school students have been sent home and the schools are under lock. Hadiza Godwin Ebuni, NTA.
The chairman, National Hajj Commission, Jalal Ahmed Arabi, has called on intending Muslim pilgrims not to panic, as industrial action by the Nigeria Labour Congress will not affect airlift of intending pilgrims to Saudi Arabia. He made the call in Yola while giving an update on Hajj operations by the Commission. Yusuf Jika reports.
So far, over 37,000 pilgrims were airlifted to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for this year's Hajj exercise out of over 51,000 government-registered intending pilgrims.
Been evacuated from Nigeria, already in Mecca, settling down and preparing for the Hajj proper.
He said consultations are on with the Nigerian Labour Congress to allow for smooth airlift of pilgrims, as any disruption on the part of flights will affect the whole system.
We had made attempt to on our own to reach out to the stakeholders, those that are involved either in the negotiation or championing the strike, as it were. Nobody should prevent NLC from exercising their constitutional right. The process of conveying the pilgrims is part of the pilgrimage. Pilgrimage is a fundamental and cardinal pillar of Islam. So there are some sensitivities that we need to avoid as much as possible. Conveyance of pilgrims to the Holy Land is ongoing. It is time-bound. So any disruption of it will not allow the Saudis or make the Saudis to say, well, we'll wait until Nigerians come in. Once the time elapses, that will be the end of it.
In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
In Niger State, organized labor shut down Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Airport in Minna in an ongoing nationwide strike to monitor and ensure effective compliance. The team, which went around the state to enforce the industrial action, also ensured the closure of Minna General Hospital. Muslim Mikhail has an update.
The team, in enforcing compliance to organized labor strike action, went around the State General Hospital, House of Assembly, state and federal branch of revenue collection agencies, where they forced out some staff they saw on duty. At the General Hospital, some patients were seen being moved out, while a woman with a newborn who came for immunization was seen leaving the hospital disappointed. The state TUC chairman who led the team said there has been maximum compliance across the board, except for some commercial banks and filling stations who open for businesses. On those embarking on pilgrim who could be affected by the closure of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu Airport, he has this to say.
Those going for Hajj is a national assignment, and it depends on what the airport authority have to do with that. But as far as we are concerned, it's just to comply with what directive we are given from the national headquarters of both TUC and NLC.
The team reiterated its commitment to monitoring and ensuring compliance for as long as the strike continues. In Minna, Musa Mikhail, NTA News.
Meanwhile, construction workers' unions have expressed concern over increasing job losses in recent months in the industry. Leadership of the Construction and Civil Engineering Senior Staff Association and that of National Union of Civil Engineering, Construction, Furniture and Wood Workers expressed this concern to newsmen in Abuja, saying many sacked workers are already struggling to cope with life. Joseph Otsen reports.
The construction industry is reported to be one of the largest employers of labor in Nigeria. But the workers are now worried at the rate at which construction companies are laying off their colleagues.
In the last 3 months, we've lost almost 20,000 workers, and the mass sack is still continuing. If care is not taken, it means that in the next 2 months, we should be expecting additional 32,000 workers.
Construction workers' unions believe companies involved are using mass sacking of workers as a protest to new standard conditions of road contracts introduced by the federal government, and urge the authorities to immediately investigate the issue and call the affected companies to order.
We urge the Ministers of Works, the Federation of Construction Industry (FOSI), and all concerned to amicably resolve the current conflict within 21 days. Otherwise, the two unions will be compelled to declare industrial actions in the construction industry in Nigeria to address this issue to prevent further loss of jobs of our members.
The federal government introduced a new parameter for road concessionaries to include a reasonable construction period must be agreed upon. There shall be no variation on the project. 100% of one carriageway must be completed before towing by concessionaries. Terms of towing of road project must be in accordance with the laws of the Federation, and standard contract conditions must be followed, among many more. These measures, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, says are to ensure efficient utilization of completed projects by road users. In Abuja, Joseph Utsan, NTA News.
Now, let's now go over to Port Harcourt, where Jenny is standing by. Jenny, what is the ambience there in Port Harcourt?
The Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress in Rivers State have joined the nationwide strike to press home their demands on increase in minimum wage and a reverse of the new electricity tariff. Ijoma Ogweke reports that the strike witnessed 80% compliance in the state.
The 400,000 minimum, we break it down. Transportation, feeding, education, health, and at the barest minimum. That is what we are asking for. But unfortunately, the government, they are telling us that what they can give us is only 60,000.
At the federal and state secretariats, most offices were closed. Only essential workers and paramilitary men and officers were on duty. The indefinite strike in Rivers State by the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress is to put effect their earlier ultimatum given to the federal government on the last Workers' Day celebration concerning the minimum wage increase and a reverse on the new electricity tariff. Labour leaders who acknowledged the federal government's response to the 35,000 naira wage award to boost the living conditions of workers are, however, disappointed over the non-resolution of the exact amount for the minimum wage till date.
Agree with me that for a worker to get a bag of rice today, you have to spend 80,000 naira. Gari, which is locally made, is about 28,000 naira. How will workers survive?
At no point in time has the worker in Nigeria gotten anything in a platter of gold. It's not a period for rest. It's a period for struggle. It's obvious. We have every justification on the demands we have put on the table before the government.
The effect of the industrial action is obvious on major roads and some banks as they are running skeletal services to avoid a shutdown of the economy. In Port Harcourt, Ijoma Ogweke, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the efforts of the Rivers State government towards attracting investors through business-friendly policies is yielding results as a Nigerian-based specialized paint company, Revelation Paint, is partnering the government in its efforts to establishing an electrical and electronics village. Osinachi Samuel reports that the governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalaye Fubara, inaugurated the first phase and also flagged off second phase of the Revelation Electrical and Electronics Market project, single-handedly developed by the investor.
A
It is often said that issues of development should not be left in the hands of government alone, hence the effort of the Rivers State government in providing conducive environment for investors has attracted partnership with Revolution Paints, an indigenous paints company that is committed to quality and specialized paints. The Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara is inaugurating the first phase of the Electrical and Electronics Village built by Revelation Paints and also flagging off the second phase of the project.
It's a project that an investor has shown capacity because of the favorable business environment that we have created in the state.
The executive chairman, Revelation Paints Limited, Emmanuel Ebobo, explains that the project is an ultra-modern specialized market conceived about 30 years ago when dealers in electrical wares wanted a centralized place to conduct their businesses with utmost convenience. He appreciates the efforts of the Rivers State government in boosting the economy of the state, assuring that the project will be beneficial to all.
This place is designed to have 1,720 lock-up shops, in addition to the clinic, a police station, 2 banks. So we decided to have this replant with all modern facilities like incinerator, guest house, car parks, you have trailer park, and you have all kinds of amenities.
The facility is designed to have phases 2, 3, and 4 in the coming months in Port Harcourt. Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
That's it from here. Nationwide continues with Ayo in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Jenny. Let's talk some financial matters now. The Central Bank of Nigeria has revoked the operating license of the Heritage Bank PLC with immediate effect. A statement credited to the Acting Director Corporate Communications, Hakama Sidi Ali, says the measure became necessary due to the inability of the board and management of the bank to improve the institution's financial performance, a situation which constitutes a threat to financial stability. This is in spite of CBN engagements with the bank and the prescription of various supervisory steps intended to stem the decline. CBN says this action is meant to strengthen public confidence in the banking system and ensure the financial system is not impaired. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, has been appointed as the liquidator of the bank in accordance with Section 12(2) of BOFIA of 2020. The Central Bank of Nigeria assures the public that the Nigerian financial system remains on a solid footing with a renewed commitment to take unnecessary steps to ensure safety of the financial system. One of the leading support groups of the governing All Progressives Congress, tagged Tinubu National Think Tank, has appealed to Nigerians to see the current hardship being experienced as a teething period which we soon face out. The group was speaking during an assessment of the Tinubu's presidency in the last 365 days, where it underscores some of the remarkable progress achieved across critical sectors of the economy and launds the administration's renewed hope agenda.
So many policies, so many programs are coming on, and people are beginning to see that we can actually create, produce what we need to feed ourselves. That's about agri. About housing, the MD of the Federal Housing Authority came on board just about 2 months ago, visited about 20 states to collaborate with the state governor to give Nigerians, especially the masses, that housing policy that the federal government, that the Asiwaju has promised Nigeria.
You want to prosper in Nigeria, instead for you to curse Nigeria, say God bless Nigeria. As you are pronouncing this, you just realize that naturally things will start working together for good to make sure that Nigeria of our dream comes to pass. And one thing that Mr. President has done is that he reversed Nigeria back to where it started, so that we can kickstart again through the national team.
Tinubu National Think Tank appeals to Nigerians to join hands with the government and offer constructive ideas that could formally launch the path for massive benefits across all spheres of the country. We go on another break. You're welcome back to Nationwide. Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak has flagged off the distribution of 16,000 textbooks and other instructional materials for basic schools across local government areas of the state. Aisha Abubakar Yahya reports that the distribution is taking place under the supervision of the State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBE.
Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak-led administration has been transforming the education sector in the state for some time now, ranging from renovation of classrooms to recruitment of 4,700 teachers and implementation of a tech-based program that has improved the learning outputs in the state. The flag-off of 16,000 textbooks and other instructional materials by Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak is another way of improving the education sector. Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, while flagging up the distribution at SUPEP office in Ilorin, said Kwara State will no doubt excel in the sector, especially with the payment of backlog of counterpart funds from 2013 to 2023. The executive chairman of Kwara State Universal Basic Education Board, Professor Rahim Adaramaja, who lauded the efforts of Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak at ensuring the education sector in the state gets the best attention, said the textbooks will definitely make a huge impact on the children.
SUBEP is one of the sectors that you have invested greatly, close to over 20 billion that you have invested in basic education. We thank you, Your Excellency. We appreciate what you are doing.
The State Universal Basic Education Board is expected to begin the distribution as soon as possible. Aisha Abubakar Yahya, NTA News.
From Kwara to Kaduna, where in an effort to enhance science education and provide better learning opportunity in science-related subjects, the state government has inaugurated a new modern science secondary school at Manchok in southern Kaduna. Muhammad Umar Arjingi reports.
The people of southern Kaduna are now witnessing rapid transformation. The state governor, accompanied by his deputy and other stakeholders from southern Kaduna, unveiled this modern science secondary school at Manchok. The school is equipped with advanced facilities to enhance learning of science-related subjects.
The commissioning of this boys' science secondary school is an important step toward repositioning our youth to be relevant in the fast-changing and complex world. Science and technology are the key drivers of economic development. In partnership with Google, we have so far trained 3,500 women and girls in data science and artificial intelligence.
Apart from improvement in the educational sector, the state government has embarked on construction of new roads across various local government areas in southern Kaduna, including this feeder road from Tachira to Kagarku and Kaura local government area.
Our administration has prioritized infrastructure development, especially road infrastructure. Since the inception of our administration, we have performed the groundbreaking of 54 roads across Kaduna State, totaling 675.5 kilometers.
The people of southern Kaduna said these improvements have not only enhanced educational opportunities in the area, but the roads have also improved connectivity and accessibility, fostering economic growth and improving the quality of life of the residents. In Kaduna, I'm Muhammad Marajingi, NTA News.
Still on education, and in Katsina State, a training program is ongoing to equip mothers on how to support girls' education in the state. Selected members of the Mothers Association are gathered to learn about their vital roles and responsibilities in shaping the future of their daughters. Awal Haliru reports.
154 members of the Mothers Association from 177 secondary schools across the state are attending the training program organized by the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education and the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, Agile. The program aims to equip mothers with the knowledge and skills to support girls' education in their communities, focusing on their roles and responsibilities in promoting education and proper hygiene practices to ensure increased enrollment and retention in schools.
This Mothers Association are drawn from the communities that will support the school in enrollment drive campaigns because we have a decrease in number of students in school.
This training is part of the state government's efforts to improve girls' education and address the challenges that hinder their progress. In a related development, Agile has organized a 12-day training program to combat gender-based violence, bringing together 500 teachers, construction workers, engineers, and security personnel.
To train them on these GBB referral pathways, because we are having issues with the community and also with the schools on referral pathway. Sometimes GBB issues would occur in the school, but the problem, they don't know where to refer.
Participants are expected to sign the GBV pledge, committing to uphold the code. In Katsina, Awal Halaru, NTA.
Away from education, the federal government is to introduce a new policy that will upscale and attract investment in livestock and dairy production. This is geared towards cutting down importation of milk. This is coming as Nigeria joins the world in marking this year's World Milk Day. Musa Baba Aliyu has the report.
Nigeria is ranked among the world's largest importers of milk, in spite of the fact that the country is housing a large population of cattle, estimated above 60 million. The Central Bank of Nigeria says the government is spending $1.5 billion on milk importation annually. Investigation reveals that most of the cows in the country, especially the white Fulani breed, are not capable of producing enough milk to meet the country's demand. But the policy being introduced by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is to enhance production through artificial insemination that will increase milk production of the local breeds of cows. Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, stated that the policy will also address challenges associated with pastoralism. He was speaking as the country marks World Milk Day.
We shall launch a renewed hope milk industry public awareness campaigns to highlight the importance of dairy products for nutrition and health, particularly among vulnerable groups like children and pregnant women. It is our hope that the collective implementation and monitoring of our progress can transform Nigerian dairy value chain, enhance food and nutrition security, improve livelihoods, and contribute to the renewed hope agenda of the President.
It is our belief that the judicious implementation of all the provision of the National Dairy Policy will catalyze strategic investment in the dairy value chain that will drive Nigeria towards self-sufficiency in milk and dairy products.
Kano State, in partnership with Islamic Development Bank, has established milk collection centers in the state.
Milk collection centers, we also provided solar power systems. We provided the milk storage room. There is a milk collection tank, a milk storage tank, the complete solar system powering the whole system, as well as other basic amenities.
The theme for this year's World Milk Day focuses on the significance of dairy in providing nutrition and nourishing the world. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Still on efforts towards food sufficiency, Kogi State Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has inaugurated the Wet Season Farming Initiative in Ajaokuta. This program aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's agricultural revolution, aimed at enhancing food quality, ensuring food sufficiency, and securing food resources for both citizens and the nation. Solomon Aiden reports.
Tagging off the wet season farming in Kogi State, Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo said the state has been leading in the production of cashew, cassava, rice, maize, and yam over the years. He emphasized that Kogi State is poised to become a major food producer, catering to the needs of the people and contributing to Nigeria's economy.
I want to assure you, Mr. President, that Kogi State is already running with you. We thank you for your policies and the financial engineering to find agricultural endeavor. Let us move in and make Kogi the food basket of the nation.
The governor explained that the government's intention is not only to ensure the massive production of major crops, but also to attract foreign investment in these sectors. Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Timothy Ojoma, commended Governor Ododo for the initiative, noting that the flag-off exercise in the state will enhance bumper food production with the aim of feeding both the state and the nation.
We are going to have food sufficiency in the state. Hunger will be driven away. About 9-10 states were neighbors to them. Most of them come to Kogi to take their food. With this gesture and the one that will be rolled out very, very shortly, there will be enough food for our neighbors. We are our brother's keeper.
A sum of 7.5 billion naira has been allocated for the procurement of tractors and farm inputs for wet season farming in the state. In Ajaokuta, Kogi State, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
A bit of sports now.